Okay, friends, let's talk BO. BO is body odor, and BO comes from bacteria all over our body. And that's why I love Lumi. And I'm excited to tell you it's the world's best whole body deodorant. Its acidified formula is clinically proven to control odor-causing bacteria everywhere. Pits, privates, and beyond. And it works for 72 hours. And unlike some deodorants that try to mask odor with a fragrance, Lumi is formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. So it's more like a pre-odorant. It's aluminum-free, baking soda-free, and paraben-free. It's pH balanced for safe use below the belt. Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like a mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get $5 off a Lumi starter pack with code REPS5 at lumideodorant.com. That equates to over 40% of your starter pack when you visit lumideodorant.com and use code REPS5. There are a few things that I have really been struggling with. One, I would say willpower, like trying to get out of bed just to get my workout in, to make sure I'm getting my workout in, making sure that I'm eating good foods, getting to work on time, getting anywhere on time. And then there's my memory. I'm constantly losing my phone. Sometimes I'll be on my phone and I think I've lost my phone. But Neurohacker has the greatest project. It's called Qualia Mind, and it has been such a huge help. Neurohacker combines 28 of the most research-backed nootropic ingredients on Earth into the ultimate brain fuel formula, Qualia Mind, and it's been changing people's lives for years now. Not only for helping my daily mental performance, but also helping my long-term brain health. I think Qualia Mind is indispensable. It's so cool to take a product where you don't have to wonder if it's working, because I noticed the difference in just days to my focus, my mood, my memory, and my willpower to get things done. See what the best brain fuel formula on earth can do for your mindset. Go to neurohacker.com/reps for $100 off. And as a listener of Between the Reps, use code REPS at checkout for an extra 15% off your first purchase. That's neurohacker, NEURO hacker.com/reps to try Qualia Mind with code REPS to experience life-changing mental performance. Okay, guys. Welcome to Between. Welcome to welcome to Between the Reps with not Brooke, but Jeanna and Devon. Brooke cannot be with us. She is heading out of. Can we say what she's doing?
I don't know.
Yeah, we're not going to say what she's doing.
Sure if
we're not going to say what she's doing, but it's some cool stuff. She can tell you about it when she gets back. In the meantime, you just have to deal with us. And per usual, have no idea what we're going to talk about. Although I will say I recently watched a really interesting show, and a lot of our listeners, and Devin, you too, probably, I'm going to say this and everyone's going to be like, well, duh. But I was thinking about it, and I think it's important to talk about because, well, I'm just going to say what I'm trying to say.
Just throw it out there.
I watched this show. It's called Telemarketers, and it's on HBO Max. And so it's one season. Have you seen it, Dev?
No, I haven't.
So it's one season. It's 3 episodes. It follows a guy that used to work as a telemarketer, like from the time I think he said he was like 14 when he started. He had to get a job or something, and he's working in this environment with most telemarketers, they don't care what their background is. So a lot of them are ex-cons.
Really?
Yes. Ex-cons on parole. Cause it's people that need a job, and it's, kind of a shitty job.
Right.
And they don't care what your background is. So what it was interesting is when they were talking about it, it starts, I think in the early 90s, and it kind of takes you through, till right now. And so this guy decided when he was younger that he wanted to do this documentary. And so it starts out with just him kind of like filming like in the office and all the bullshit that's going on in the office. And it's funny because one of the main things that they would do is, I'm sure you've gotten a call before about supporting the like veterans or supporting police or and I remember this back in the day in the 90s, we would get calls all the time for, firemen's associations and police associations. And it was always what they call it, like the fraternal, it's like a FOP, fraternal officers, something. And so basically they go through and show how they swindle all these people out of this money, basically. Sorry, I got to move this over.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Were the telemarketers actually working for those organizations, or are those organizations real, or is it just all in all a scam?
So the organizations are real, but the telemarketers are making 90% of the profit. Whereas these other organizations are only getting 10% or something like that. So I used to end up buying like a $25 sponsorship or $35 sponsorship. And then they always send you this sticker in the mail. And they were talking about how people love this sticker, but they basically would act as if, like, some of the telemarketers would act as if they were actual cops, which of course then legislation was put through so that they could no longer say that. They had to say that they were like a second party or whatever. But they still do it. They'll still say it, or they'll act as if, they're really giving all the proceeds. So, but then they went even further over this like 20-year documentary. They went even further to where they weren't even giving. So like, basically they're saying, hey, we want you to help. This money is going to go towards the families of fallen officers. Right. So, but what they're finding is that even the 10% that's going to these FOPs or whatever they were calling them is not going to that. It's basically a union. So in most of these cases, the people aren't even getting those. And people, they're under the impression like, oh, like, I want to support the police or I want to support the firemen. It's not doing that. None of it's doing it. It's just going into the pockets of people. So, and now since, I think, I don't know, you got to watch it. You just got to watch it. But there was then where they would call them like a POC, like a political, what was it called? PAC, political something. Anyway, if it's a political organization calling you, like wanting money to go for whatever, it's still going to the telemarketers. But because the legislation hasn't been put through, because like now you could, if a telemarketer called you, you could say, well, how much of the proceeds goes to this? And they would have to, they should be answering. But if it's a political one, they don't have to tell you. Really? They don't have to tell you like what percentage or anything like that. So, and because of, our country is so polarized, there's been this huge resurgence of, people calling, like, oh, we're, I'm sure you're worried about the police being defunded and da, da, da. Well, none of this money is going to any of that.
That's so crazy that they can do that.
And you got to watch this show because the two main characters is this one kid that started out, and then his buddy was like a heroin addict who is then on methadone. He's just this, this guy that used to work for a telemarketer who's kind of like, has a record, all this kind of stuff. And they actually end up talking to like a congressman by the end of the whole thing. Like it's really interesting. He's a really interesting character. And it just shows you that this mass fraud is going on, but nothing is being done about it, except for them going maybe after the telemarketers, but they're not going after these police groups that are hiring the telemarketers, because they're still getting money. So like, say a telemarketer is getting $7 million or, $7 billion
Mm-hmm.
They're still getting a good chunk of change and they're not having to do anything,
Right.
you know?
So were they talking to the congressman at the end to like pass some kind of legislation that this has to
They're
be more
basically saying,
transparent?
yes, because they're basically going to all these like different government agencies and saying like, well, what can we do? And they're like, well, until legislation is passed, our hands are tied. We can't do anything about it. So, and they had one guy that was, you know, head of his chapter of the policemen's, it's called fraternal. I wish I would have written it down. Of course I didn't. But there's chapters like all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically an officers union. And so like the head of one of the unions, I believe it was in Texas or something, was actually brought up on charges because he had been using, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars to do like trips. And, you know, there's nobody is holding anyone accountable. So it was a really interesting watch. And what I was thinking is like, I feel like most young people would know, you know, we have like a lot of information, and I stopped giving money to people over the phone years ago, you know,
Right.
that kind of like after the 90s came out, you know, at the end and, you know, more stories came out. And I always would just tell people like, I only donate locally.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still this whole older generation that has no idea. So like there was literally like in one of them, there's like a crackhead. He's smoking crack on the street, and he sees like a business name of like a van. So he calls that guy. He calls the number on the van, and he basically tells him like, yeah, I'm so officer so and so. You know, this is for the fallen. You know. Or for the families or, you know, for whatever in this association. And he convinces this guy that he's not only like a cop while he's out on the street and there's like an ambulance goes by and he goes, oh, sorry, you know, I'm in the office. Like he's doing all this stuff. And he basically is, you know, and like the other guy on the phone is like, oh yeah. He's like, you know, my neighbor's a state trooper. He's like, oh yeah, man. Like, you know, we got to support our, you know, our police, and he talks this guy into, you know, $1 a day, which is $365.
Right.
No problem. And he's like, yeah, and we're gonna make sure to recommend your business to everybody in the area. So like this guy thinks he's like in with the cops because he's got this sticker on his car.
That's wild.
It is wild.
People are that shitty.
Yes.
You know, like just blows my mind that there's a whole network of all of these types of people that are willing to do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a paycheck for them.
I mean, it's money.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh my God.
Well, and the people that are doing it aren't. I mean, the people that are running these companies are making a ton of money, but the people that are just working for them aren't getting tons of money.
No.
You know, so, I mean, they're just getting by. So anyway, it's called Telemarketers. It's on HBO Max. I highly recommend people watch it. And I really think it's important to tell your grandparents because it just showed like one little old lady after another, you know, just like, you know, because they want to support people.
Yeah.
Just, you know, falling prey to it. So, and I could see my grandma instantly thinking, oh, I'm helping the police, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, friends, let's talk BO. BO is body odor. It's not PO for pit odor. And BO comes from bacteria all over our body. And that's why I love Lumi. And I'm excited to tell you it's the world's best whole body deodorant. Its acidified formula is clinically proven to control odor-causing bacteria everywhere. Pits, privates, and beyond. And it works for 72 hours. I love Lumi's acidified deodorant wipes. I take them everywhere. I can take them to the gym and I can just use them anywhere as soon as I'm done working out. As an OBGYN, Lumi's founder, Dr. Shannon Klingman, met thousands of women concerned with odor below the belt. She discovered it wasn't the vagina to blame, but bacteria on the skin. So she created Lumi, a pH-optimized, aluminum-free deodorant that actually works. And it works everywhere, with over 150,000 five-star reviews to prove it. And not only do they have the wipes, they have the Lumi whole body deodorant smooth solid, and it smells so good. It's toasted coconut. And unlike some deodorants that try to mask odor with a fragrance, Lumi is formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. So it's more like a pre-odorant. It's aluminum-free, baking soda-free, and paraben-free. It's pH balanced for safe use below the belt. Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like a mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get $5 off a Lumi starter pack with code REPS5 at lumideodorant.com. That equates to over 40% of your starter pack when you visit lumideodorant.com and use code REPS5.
Well, I know I've talked to my mom about, like, if she gets a random text message that's like, click this link, do not click that link.
Yes, right.
You know, it's more often than not, it's a scam.
Yep. You get like a thing saying Amazon, somebody's hacked your Amazon, like click it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it. Netflix.
Don't do
I've
that.
gotten Netflix ones. Yeah. Don't do it.
My Netflix account got broken into just like last week. All of a sudden my profile was changed to someone named Aria, and it was all kinds of kids shows.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. It was really weird. I had to go in and change the password and like delete that profile. And
well, I thought my Netflix had been hacked. This was a couple years ago. Ruby thought it was really funny to go in and change my profile picture and change the name. And I was like, and I didn't even say anything to her. And it was like this really gross ogre looking thing. I was like, what the hell is this? And she had just been in her bedroom thinking she was so funny. And so I like went in and like changed my password and like, did a bunch of stuff. And so about 3 days later, she goes, Mom, I can't get into the Netflix. I go, oh, I had to change my password. Some weird ogre looking thing popped up. And she just goes, oh my God. She goes, that was me.
Oh
no. That was me, Mom. So I was like, oh my God, do you know what a pain in the ass it is to go back in and deal with all this shit? She goes, why didn't you say anything? I'm like, I don't know, because you never deal with this stuff. Like, why would I have gone to you? Why would I have assumed? Idiot.
That's so funny. Oh man. I finally watched Painkiller.
Oh, so good, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing. You watch all these things and you go, oh man, our system's really fucked up.
But I'm going to spend my time watching something else.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I can really deal with this.
Oh, it really is. It really is kind of crazy. That one was kind of crazy though, how they pushed through the FDA approval for it, even though they knew that it was bad.
Yeah. I mean, it just shows you it's just all dirty. But it's like, I don't know. I was just having this conversation with my oldest son because, I think I was talking about this already. He was like trying to figure out if he wants to have kids or not.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know, Mom. This world's just so fucked up. And I go, I don't know if it's more fucked up or if we just know more about it.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
Like there's been, shit has been going on in the government and, all this kind of like, you think of like McCarthyism and you think about, all these things that have happened like throughout the years. And it's like, yeah, it is fucked up. Like, but we're just more aware of it.
Right. We have more access to information and different sources of information now.
Right. Well, then you got to sift through the information because you're like,
well, that's what I was going to say. Anybody can get on, their phone and act like they know what they're talking about.
Right.
Just because.
Except for me.
Well, I mean, almost anybody.
I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking. They're like, definitely don't listen to this chick. I was really impressed with how many people in this show, like even the crackhead, how literate he was. not that he should be illiterate, but like, I mean, he's so drugged out of his mind. Like he's literally like at one point you see him stop and he's like shooting up and then he's just on the phone, like just smooth talking this guy. And I'm like, I wouldn't be able to talk to somebody like that.
Yeah. It sounds like he's probably had years of practice.
I was so impressed with him. I was like, man, you could really, really, just get off the drugs, man.
Yeah. Put that to some good use.
Put it to some use.
That's funny.
It was really impressive. But yeah. It's I don't know. I'm like, I don't know what to say after that.
I don't know. I mean, an articulate crackhead, how do you follow that? It's kind of hard.
Fuck. Well, no, I'm seriously thinking about it. I was like, that guy is more articulate than I am. High as hell.
Well, he probably has years and years and years of experience of bullshitting people.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm going to tell myself, Dev.
Okay. Maybe we should read more books.
Either that or I need to go back to school. It's like, geez.
I know.
It's funny that you say that. So the other night, my brother-in-law has always been in like punk bands throughout the years, and he's in a new one. It's called Hot Lung. No, is that right? Hot Lung. Hot Lung. Hot Box. Dude, that's so punk. Yeah, Hot Box. But no, it's like Hot Lung. So we went to his show the other night. It was awesome. But I had a couple drinks, and so Daniel drove, and so we drove home, and I don't know why, but I got it in my head that he looked like he was paralyzed from the waist down.
Daniel?
Yeah. And he didn't, he just was holding his legs at a weird angle, like on the couch, like we were both sitting on the couch, and I just could not stop laughing. I was clearly wasted. I'm not wasted because like I remember everything, but I was like taking video of him, and I kept telling him I was going to poke a pin in his legs to see if he could feel them. And I was so convinced. And so he took a video of me. It is the most unflattering video. And I sound so drunk. And he even says in it, he goes, I'm going to send this to you tomorrow, and you're going to be so embarrassed. And let me tell you, he did. And I was. But it was just talk about unflattering angles. I might actually just show it to you.
Let's see it.
When you hear my voice, I'm like, and he is so not having me at the time. He is like so annoyed with me.
And I get so over it. He's just like, I'm going to embarrass you now.
Yeah. So over it. So okay. Wait.
I can't hear
your legs. Can you not hear it? They're still alive. You've been in a terrible accident.
Oh my gosh. We can't really hear it.
It is bad.
We can see your face.
I'd already washed all my makeup off. It's like at this angle where it just looks like my arm. I have this huge arm. I mean, it just is awful. It is absolutely awful. But talk about like needing a facelift. I'm like, I'm going to go. And it just looks like I have these jowls hanging. And I just remember thinking, oh man, it's time for Botox, I think.
Dude, I've opened the front camera on my phone before where I'm like looking down at it and I'm like, oh no.
No, I know. It's the absolute word. Yeah.
I need to wear a turtleneck all the time.
I know. I know. Sometimes I do that and I go, oh my God, my head is the head of a penis. And this is like the wrinkly part underneath.
It's the foreskin.
The foreskin. It's so bad.
It's so bad.
Oh man.
Well, I'll go with you if you want to go together.
Get a facelift.
Get
I'm too
facelift.
scared. I'm too scared. I'm just too scared.
You've had other stuff though.
Yeah, but I don't know. Facelift just feels different to me. Like you're gonna cut and pull this. I mean, and believe me, like my neck for sure. Like I don't have like the standard like, you know, like this thing, but it's just I've talked about it before. It's like I've got my dad's like I just, you know, like my profile is just like my neck goes like from the end of my chin to my, you know, to my boob line. And so it would be great. It would be great to get that all lifted up. But I'm just too scared. You know?
Maybe.
I feel like I would be one of those people that was so vain that went in and had that done. And I would like die in surgery. And it would be like, for what, Jeanna? For vanity.
For vanity.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when I got my boobs, and especially as I get older too, because I'm like, oh, my vitals probably aren't that good. Definitely not that great. And so, and because I remember when I went in for my boobs, I was like literally telling them as they were rolling me in, I'm like, please don't let me die. Because I kept thinking the same thing. Like, oh my God, I'm going to go in and get my boobs done and die. Like, what a fucking idiot.
I think any kind of elective surgery, people have that thought.
Right.
I mean,
is it worth it?
I did find a doctor that does the lower facelift and neck lift under just general. They give you basically a Valium and numb ya.
Oh my God, under a general?
Or under a local. Under a local.
Oh, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking.
Just a local. They don't put you to sleep. They just give you a Valium and some local anesthetic and
I don't
do it while you're awake.
That's even worse. It's like fucking that movie Face Off or something, but you're awake. Just peel my face back while I'm.
Well, they don't do like the full facelifts with it, but like the lower facelift and neck lift, like what I want.
Yeah.
They do it with you awake.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think about things like this, like, you know, and Brooke and I, like, we've talked about this over the years. Like, how much are you going to do and how weird are you going to look?
Right.
Like, at what age do you finally get to the point? And I'm sure that there's a lot of people listening to us, if you guys are still listening, that are younger, that are like, I would never do that. Well, no shit.
Right.
I mean,
no, you don't do it when you're younger.
Yeah, that's my thing. It's always like people in their like 30s or 40s that are, you know, like I would have never thought of getting like a facelift in my 40s. Like there's just
I'm in my 40s and I want one back.
Well, I know. Okay. But you know what I'm saying? Like for the most part, if you know, they have so many avenues now, like, you know, if you're able to afford it, you know, and good skincare and, you know, we know more about not being in the sun all the time and all this kind of stuff. So you can prevent a lot of that to happen. Right. But I'll tell you what, you know, of course you're going to get to a certain point and you're like just watching gravity take effect.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck? Like, I am stuck in this older and uglier body. Like, what is happening? And I know it's supposed to be all about like, oh, you know, love yourself, blah, blah, blah. I like who I am. I just don't like the outside sometimes.
Right. And that's okay. You can have things that you don't like and want to, you know, daydream about improving. But
am I gonna look the way I think I'm gonna look? Because that's the problem too, is I think too many people start doing too many things and they just start to look like a weird version of themselves. They don't start to look like necessarily a younger version, like they did when they were younger. They just start to look like a weird version of themselves. I mean, look what like Madonna.
Oh yeah.
Facelift, or I don't know what she did.
She's had a lot of fillers because her cheeks are just like over full.
But I'm wondering if like,
she probably had a facelift too. She's almost fucking 80, isn't she?
No, I think she's no.
Okay, well,
she can't be 80. No, she was like, because I remember when she came out, she was like in her 20s, and I think I was in high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Sorry, Madonna fans.
I know. You know what? That would be. I'm sorry, but that would be the worst thing ever if somebody was like, yeah, I mean, but Gina's old. She's like 80, right? I'm fucking 53. Well, and that's kind of like the other pitfall of that too, right? Like people start to assume you're older than you are. Like, that's not why I want to do this shit. There are a few things that I have really been struggling with. One, I would say willpower, like trying to get out of bed just to get my workout in, to make sure I'm getting my workout in, making sure that I'm eating good foods, getting to work on time, getting anywhere on time. And then there's my memory. I'm constantly losing my phone. Sometimes I'll be on my phone and I think I've lost my phone. I've lost my keys so many times. But Neurohacker has the greatest project. It's called Qualia Mind, and it has been such a huge help. Neurohacker combines 28 of the most research-backed nootropic ingredients on Earth into the ultimate brain fuel formula, Qualia Mind, and it's been changing people's lives for years now. Not only for helping my daily mental performance, but also helping my long-term brain health. I think Qualia Mind is indispensable. It's so cool to take a product where you don't have to wonder if it's working, because I noticed the difference in just days to my focus, my mood, my memory, and my willpower to get things done. The formula is non-GMO, it's vegan, gluten-free, and the ingredients are meant to complement one another, factoring in each ingredient's effect on supporting mental clarity. It's also backed by a 100-day money-back guarantee, so you have almost 3 months to try Qualia Mind at no financial risk and decide for yourself. See what the best brain fuel formula on earth can do for your mindset. Go to neurohacker.com/reps for $100 off. And as a listener of Between the Reps, use code REPS at checkout for an extra 15% off your first purchase. That's neurohacker, NEURO hacker.com/reps to try Qualia Mind with code REPS to experience life-changing mental performance. Oh my God.
Oh my God. What was Steven was telling me about something and he was like, oh yeah, like they were old. And he goes, well, I mean, they were like in their 30s. And I was like, pardon me?
Excuse me? Madonna's 65.
Okay, well, I was wrong.
I don't know though, man. It just all starts to blend together.
She does look odd though. She does. Last thing I saw her on, or photo I saw of her, she looked really strange. And maybe she was still swollen. I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm wondering too. Cause like it takes a while for the swelling to go down. Cause I know other people that have gotten, like a lower lift or eye lift or whatever. And like some of them come out really natural looking and they look great. But yeah, I mean, there's just some when you're just like, and some of them with the celebrities, like, do you remember when Kenny Rogers, I don't know if our listeners really know who Kenny Rogers is, but Kenny Rogers did all that shit to himself. And all I could think of was like, these are people that have so much money. Who did they go to?
Right.
Who did they go to?
And did they say like, can you keep it natural or
I just don't want a wrinkle in sight.
Yeah, or like let's just flick it back.
You just do what you think, what feels good for you.
Pull it as tight as you possibly can.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, he looked strange. I think he had like a forehead lift or like an eye lift too, or something, because his eyes. I think
he did the lids too.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes when they do the lids, they'll be like really open.
Yeah.
And then they'll kind of settle. I knew someone that had it done. I don't know how old she was. She was probably in her late 50s when she had it done. I think she's in her 60s now. And what I thought was crazy is that I guess the skin from underneath your nose to like right where your lip starts, as you age, gets longer.
Yeah.
And so what her doctor did is cut the skin right here and sewed it
But when she first came out, her lip was pulled up in a really, it didn't look right. It settled and it looks great.
Right.
But it was kind of like when I first saw her, I was like, ooh, is it going to stay like that? Like, ooh, is that going to drop a little bit?
Right.
What is that? So yeah, it's kind of like what you're willing to go through, I guess. And, the healing process.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a long one.
Yeah. No, they are long. It's not just a quick, like 2-week thing.
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm also like, as I get older, I kind of go, well, do I need to do that? Why do you spend money on that? I don't know.
I don't know. I daydream about it, but
well, yeah, of course. Like I don't
have the money for
dream
it.
that I just wake up and it's done, Oh my God. Oh my God. Look what I must have slept really well.
Have you seen they put like some of the celebrities will put like tape back on their neck to like for events and stuff to pull their face back?
Yeah.
Like I need some of that shit.
Yeah, but I mean, but then you just got to go home and take the tape off and be like, oh,
I know.
Man.
Like, oh. Never mind.
I never really understood that kind of thing. Like I had a friend, it wasn't a friend, it was a family member that used to wear, she felt like she had a really flat butt. So she would wear like those, like, I guess there was like underwear or like something you could wear that would like plump your butt up.
A friend of mine had it was like Banks that had butt pads in them.
Butt pads in it. And I'm like, but I don't know. Like you got to go home and take it off. Like, I mean, I guess we're just like such an obsessed culture with like pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Not what you actually look like in real life.
Yeah. I mean
everybody's kind of catfishing in a way.
In a way.
When you think about it, they're kind of catfishing, In
a way. I mean, even if somebody doesn't edit all their photos or do any of that, social media is still just a highlight reel.
Yeah. No,
like it doesn't show your real life.
No, of course not. Yeah, we're just all a bunch of catfish people.
Just a bunch of catfish. Did I ever tell you my catfish story?
No.
Oh, maybe we save that for another episode. You want me to tell it real quick?
Yeah, tell it.
Well, this was when I was newly single. So this was about 10 years ago. And online dating was just kind of taking hold. And it was the only site that I knew about or that was around it was called Plenty of Fish. Do you remember Plenty of Fish?
No, I've never.
Well, turns out I live in a very small, murky pond.
I live in a puddle.
Plenty of bottom dwellers. But anyways, I had gotten this message from this really very attractive man. He was a black man. But very attractive. And I was like, oh, hi. And so we texted back and forth. He told me that his name was Justin. And last name was Wright, Wright. We end up, texting back and forth for a while and then exchanged numbers. And over the course of about 3 weeks, we talked several times. He told me that he was like an environmental attorney in Colorado and sold his practice to move out here and start a winery. And that he had a ranch on the east side of town and was just had this whole story. Like,
yeah, it's just hitting all the, yes.
Super interested in getting to know me, wanted to know about my kids. Not weird information, but just like how old are they? What do they like? What kind of sports do they play? That kind of thing. So like I said, over the course of a few weeks, we talked numerous times and he kept saying that he was traveling. Like he told me that he made this, he was doing this startup and he was pitching it to Whole Foods. And so he was in San Francisco at their headquarters. I don't even know if their headquarters are there. But he would send me like photos here and there, but they weren't like selfies. They were always kind of like third party pictures and really good pictures.
Uh-huh.
And one day I was talking with a friend of mine. I was at work in the ER and I was talking to one of my good friends and she goes, I swear he looks like an NFL player. Like this guy does not live in Paso.
Right. Yeah. I would have remembered.
And I said, no, like that, blah, blah, blah. He's this, that. And so fast forward to a weekend where we decided we were going to meet for coffee. And I had a going away party for a friend that Friday night. We were supposed to meet Saturday morning. I said, I'm at, my friend's house, like text me in the morning and confirm. We had a place picked out and everything. He disappears.
Well, yeah, because he's just shitting himself.
Yeah.
What are these people thinking anyway?
Yeah. So a couple days go by, and so I was like, okay, fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
And then he pops back up and he's like, I'm so sorry. I'm in New York. My dad passed away. I've been dealing with family stuff.
He used the dead parent excuse.
Dead parent. So of course I'm like, oh my God, do you need anything? I'm so sorry.
I'm sending him a care package.
Yeah. Like, do you need me to go to your house and water your plant?
Oh my God. We're so dumb.
So he sends me this picture of him getting a tattoo on his forearm. And he's like, I'm getting some ink for my pops. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I think he already had that tattoo in an old picture that he sent.
Shut up.
Mm-hmm. And so I get on the phone with my friend and kind of tell her, and she's like, let's find this guy. So we reverse search his phone number and come up with a woman. And then we find her on Facebook and, long story short, and my friend was like Magnum PI, but long story short, he was married, short, little, fat white guy.
Shut up.
And he was using, and the photos that he used. So then I did a Google search of one of the photos and he was using Arian Foster. He was a football player. I think he was like the Miami Dolphins or something. Stealing his pictures off this NFL player's Facebook.
What? I mean, he must just be doing it just to have conversation, because obviously,
I don't know.
What is the psychology of that? Like, what is?
I don't know. Like, what's the end game, buddy?
Oh
because
God.
Obviously,
wow,
we're never gonna meet, or if we do, I'm gonna be very disappointed.
I know. I'm the kind of person that just shows everything in my face.
Yeah.
I would just be like, oh man.
I'd be like, you're wrong all the way around.
Well, it's like even like friends of mine that have been on dating sites and stuff. And, a few of them have gotten catfished, but not quite that bad. But just people who have like doctored their photos so much that it's like, then they meet him and let's be honest. It's like, obviously you're marketing yourself a certain way. Like, most people will be like, well, looks shouldn't count and blah, blah. I mean, there has to be some kind of like physical attraction. Right. And if you're doctoring all of your shit and then meet someone and you're either, I don't know, doctoring it in whatever way.
Right. You're 20 years older in person.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, obviously it's false advertising. It's fraud.
It is.
It's fraud.
It's fraud.
We just brought this full circle. More fraud.
It's like telemarketing.
It is like telemarketing. And all of a sudden the, articulate crackhead shows up. Well, shit. Oh my God. Okay, guys. Well, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to
Rate, review, subscribe, 5-star rating, 5-star warning, and we will talk to you
next week. Next week.
Next week.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.